Attack on Titan is highly regarded as one of the best anime ever made, and to a good number of people, it's even the best TV show ever made. The Fast and Furious franchise is known for being a series of movies most people only enjoy as a joke because, they're pretty dumb. So it's kind of weird to think about what these two have in common. And being a very weird person myself, that's exactly what I did. Every now and then my mind decides to wander and not focus on important things like my job or my classes, and I think about dumb things like TV shows and movies I enjoy because they're just a lot more fun than statistics. And two of the things my mind has decided to focus on more recently, and by recently I mean like the last 6 months because I'm really bad at deciding what I want turned into videos, have been Attack on Titan and Fast and Furious. And it turns out, these two have more in common than you might think. So now I ask that you please join me in my insanity and let me tell you a bunch of the similarities I've found between these two very different stories. The first thing you need to know is that it's all about family. But not the family you're born with, because those guys suck and don't get revealed to the audience until pretty late in the game. No, it's all about the family you make. And this is my clever way of saying that I'm going to talk about the characters first. So of course we're going to start by talking about the protagonist, who, in both of these stories, is just always so angry. And maybe that's because one of the first people they decide to befriend after the start of the story is a blonde that turns out to be a spy for the enemy. And maybe another reason is one that I already kind of brought up, but the main character has a secret brother that none of us knew about, and at first they're giving off big antagonist vibes, but then, because they're brothers, they end up working together, at least, for a little bit. Look, it counts, okay? I'm counting it. Now, the crazy thing about the main character is that, we spend so much time with them and the people they care about, and then all of a sudden, they turn on their family and become the antagonist. And it's up to everyone else to stop them, but to do that, they end up recruiting bad guys from the past to help them out. And then it turns out that the reason the main character turned into a bad guy is for his family, and more specifically, children. Dom is trying to save his kid, and Aaron is trying to save all the future children his friends may or may not have. Now moving away from the main character, we get into some easy ones. Like his blonde best friend who happens to be my favorite character. And the female lead with black hair who could also be considered a love interest. I say it like that because Eren and Mikasa aren't a real couple, but I feel like a lot of Attack on Titan fans are going to come at me for that one, so I will just go ahead and say that she counts as a love interest. And then, you got a bunch of lovable idiots, and that's great. But most importantly, you have the fan favorite who is so cool, he ends up getting his own kind of side story. And then later, he gets blown up. But don't worry, because he survives. And I personally hate the reason behind both of these explosions. I can't tell you how stupid it is that Levi put a bomb on Zeke when it's like, just keep cutting off his limbs. You said it out loud. You know that that's how it works. If you keep cutting off his limbs, he can't turn into a Titan. And even if he can, every time you have fought this guy, you have just destroyed him. Every time in seconds. You don't need to worry about him turning into a Titan. You don't need to worry about this man. Why would you put a bomb on this madman that will clearly blow himself up? You're an idiot, Levi. Like, it was just like the dumbest way to remove Levi from the story because we all know Levi's too OP and would have dealt with everything just, like no problem. He literally just beat how many Titans and the Beast Titan just like episodes before, and then he's just like, yeah, just blow me up. Fine. Stupid. And as for Han, like, that death just gets retconned in like every other movie, so like it's just it's also dumb, just for different reasons. But also it makes it so both these characters were blown up by one of the bad guys who then kind of ends up working with that main character earlier. Just it's a stretch, kind of. Let me have this, okay? Shut up. Now, the other important thing about both these stories is how the characters actually get around. The main mode of transportation everyone uses to get to where they need to go, and it gets them there fast. Now, these are extremely necessary in both stories, okay? If the scouts don't have ODM gear, they are not beating Titans, right? And how else do you expect to pull off a heist if you don't have a getaway vehicle? How else are you gonna move that big ol' safe? Oh, and would you look at that? They both got wires shooting out of them. And now, as we're progressing through the story, these aren't getting the job done the same way they used to. How could we possibly make these better? Put rockets on them. Oh my, guys, what if we just put rockets on them? Okay, now the rockets are the big one, okay? That's great, it's crazy. They both put rockets on their goddamn mode of transportation. Okay, like how does that happen? How do both their modes of transportation that shoot wires also then get rockets later on? Come on, what more do I need to say? What more do I need to say about this? I was having so much fun just thinking about all this stupid stuff, and then the rockets happen, and I'm like, okay, I think I need to make this a video. The rockets played a very large part in why I made this video, okay? And I would say the other thing that really made me make this video, and the thing that actually made me connect these two in the first place, is that neither of these will end. Fast X has the little subtitle, "The End of the Road Begins," and it's like, okay, cool, but like, then Vin Diesel is saying something about he wants RDJ to play a villain and drive like AI robot cars. Is that a part of your plan to end like this Fast X and then a part 2 that follows it up with Jason Momoa, right? Vin Diesel's also going and saying like, who knows, it might be 3 parts. It's like, you're not ending this. You're not ending this. Why would you say the end of the road begins if it's not going to end soon? Now, the thing about Attack on Titan, right? The manga does have an ending, but we're not talking about the manga, okay? We're talking about the anime. The anime that's been in its final season for 3 years. First, we got Attack on Titan, the final season. And like a lot of anime, at least, you know, that I consume, seasons are normally broken up into 2 parts. For a lot of the ones I consume, they take like a few weeks break. Attack on Titan took a few years. So then we end up with Attack on Titan, the final season, part 1, and Attack on Titan, the final season, part 2. And then I remember the build-up to the end of part 2, and everyone kind of being like, well, we don't really have enough time to finish it. So a lot of the speculation was that they were going to make a movie. And then they announced, we're doing Attack on Titan, the final season, part 3. And then I think they told us before then, this final part is 2 parts. And so now I'm going, so we got Attack on Titan, the final season, part 3, and Attack on Titan, the final season, part 4? And they said, not exactly. You have Attack on Titan, the final season, the final chapters. And then they released the final chapters of the final season of Attack on Titan. And it was only the first 2 chapters, which meant that later down the line, we would be getting Attack on Titan, the final season, the final chapters, chapters 3 and 4. And like, this is who I am. Whenever I talk about these now, I always call them something along the lines of Attack on Titan Season 4, the final season, Part 3, the final chapters, chapters 1 and 2, Attack on Titan Season 4, the final season, Part 4, the final chapters, chapters 3 and 4. That's not their official titles. It's what it is. We are told that both of these are ending soon, and I think they both probably should have ended a while ago. And at the same time, I kind of don't actually want them to. And as long as I have actually decided to work on this video will release before the release of Attack on Titan Season 4, the final season, Part 4, final chapters 3 and 4, is supposed to release. And I mean this in the most sincere, genuine way. As someone who has read the manga and knows what happens next, I'm not convinced that this is actually the ending. I'm still not. I think there's a very good chance we are still not done with Attack on Titan, and there's no way we are anywhere near the end of the road for Fast and Furious. So who knows? Okay, bye.